at school today. My little one tested positive on Saturday, so I am staying home with him today. And then the rest of the week, I should be back tomorrow, and we'll see about Thursday. Anyway, okay, we're going to move into solving systems of linear equations through word problems, right? So good times. So I'm going to read the word problem. I'm going to talk to you about how to solve it. We'll do a few throughout the packet together just to make sure you have an example of each type. And then you will, once the video is over, you'll just work with a partner or partners. Make sure the desks get put back where they were, please. And this is not homework. I don't want anybody going home and working on these at home. We will discuss them more tomorrow and then finish whatever you didn't get done today. So here we go. The school that Lisa goes to is selling tickets to the annual talent show. On the first day of ticket sales, the school sold 4 adult tickets and 5 student tickets for a total of $102. On the second day, the school took in $126 by selling 7 adult tickets and 5 student tickets. What is the price of each type of ticket? Okay, it seems a little overwhelming, but I promise you're going to be fine. All right, so step 1, assign a variable for each value you are trying to determine. So we're trying to find out the price of each type of ticket. So because we talked about adult tickets first, I'm going to make X equal adult tickets. Price, and Y is going to equal student ticket price. Okay, and as I'm going along, pause as you need to, but I'm just going to try to make this video as short as possible for YouTube purposes. Okay, now we're going to create the 2 linear equations for each of the systems based on the given information. So we know X is going to be adult, Y is going to be student. So we know we have 4 adult tickets, so 4 times however many adult tickets were sold, plus 5 student tickets. We don't know that price. And when we do that, when we add that all up, we're going to get $102. That was the first day. On the second day, we know that they sold 7 adult tickets, so 7 times whatever the adult ticket price is, plus 5 whatever time the student ticket price is, and they got $126. So now we have these 2 equations to make our system, and the third step is to solve it. And we're going to use elimination because it's just easier. So I'm going to rewrite these 4x plus 5y equals 102, 7x plus 5y equals 126. I think the easiest thing to do here is to make one of these equations so that the y is negative, right? So make that 5y negative. So I'm just going to multiply this whole equation by -1. So now I'm going to have negative 4x minus 5y equals negative 102, and then I have 7x plus 5y equals the 126 that it started out with. Combine these, so I'm going to have 3x equals 24, because negative 102 plus 126 is going to give me 24. Divide by 3, x will equal 8. So I still need to know what is the price of each type of ticket. So if X is the adult ticket price, then I know that adult tickets equal $8 each, right? And then how am I going to figure out what the student tickets cost? Well, I'm going to put this 8 into one of these equations. So I'm going to say 4x plus 5y equals 102. 4 times 8 plus 5y equals 102. 32 plus 5y equals 102. I'm going to end up with 5y equals 70. If I subtract the 32, divide by 5, y equals 14. So that tells me that the student tickets equals $14. So then I know how much each ticket costs per person. How could I check this? Well, I can do 4 times 8 plus 5 times 14 and hope that it adds up to 102. And that would be my situation. I could also do 7 times 8 plus 5 times 14 and hope that that equals 126. Okay. So now question 2 is almost identical, or wait, hold on. Yeah, question 2 is similar. It's just instead of tickets, we're talking about pies. You should be able to do question 2 by yourself. Let's see here. Question 3 is similar. Question 4. Oh, question 5 is a little bit different. Okay, so we'll do question 5 together. We have the 2 middle schools going on a field trip. NWMS filled 16 vans and 8 buses with 752 students. East Middle School, 5 vans and 5 buses, 380 students. How many students can a van carry? How many students can a bus carry? All right, so let me find this one here. Okay, so we're going to identify our variables, right? We're not going to need as much room as we had on the first one. I only did that so you could see the steps. So I'm going to make x equal vans and y equal buses. Okay, so I have my variables identified because we want to know how many students can a van carry, how many students can a bus carry, right? So vans and buses. So we know that NWMS had 16 vans plus 8 buses, and they had 752 total students. And East Middle School had 5 vans and 5 buses, and they had 380 students. So now I have my equations created. I'm going to use elimination to cancel these out. I'm going to multiply the top by 5 and the bottom by -8. So that way my y values will cancel out. All right, not bad. Okay, so I'm going to end up with 80x plus 40y equals 3,760. And yes, you can use a calculator. I'm going to end up with -40x minus 40y equals 3,040. So now I'm going to eliminate my y's, and now I have 40x equals 720 when I, sorry, this is -3,040. When I subtract those, I get 720, divide by 40, and I get x equals 18. So that tells me how many students can each go into a van. But I still need to figure out how many students can each go into a bus, right? So I'm going to take this first equation, and I'm going to put 18 in for it. So I'm going to say 16 times 18 plus 8y equals 752, because I put this 18 up here in this equation. Then I'm going to get 288 plus 8y equals 752. When I subtract the 288, I'm going to get 8y equals 464. When I divide by 8, I'm going to get y equals 58. So that tells me that vans can carry 18 students, buses can carry 58 students. So ultimately, that is the answer I'm looking for. All right, so that was number 5. Number 6 is not super easy, so we're going to work this one out together as well. Let's see here. All right, so we have a plane, and you guys know, like, when you're going with the wind, you're going faster, meaning the wind is helping the plane go faster. And when you're going into the wind, that means you're going against, so it's making the plane go slower, right? So we have the speed with the wind, faster, and the speed into the wind, slower. How fast would the plane go if there was no wind? What is the wind speed? So we have a couple different things to figure out here. So this is set up a little bit different, but not terribly different, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to say, this should be WAS. Whoops. So we're going to say X is the plane speed, and y is going to be the wind speed. Okay, what is the wind speed? What is the plane speed? X and y. So we know that the plane with the wind, so the faster, so with the wind, it goes 183 miles an hour. But the plane against the wind, meaning the wind is making it go slower, it's going to go 141 miles per hour. So when we add the two together, when the wind is helping, we go faster. When the wind is slowing us down, we go slower. So then we solve this system. These y's are gone. So we get 2x equals 324. Just want to make sure I have this right. Don't want to lead you guys astray. And then when I divide by 2, I get that x equals 162 miles per hour. So remember, that x is the plane speed when there's no wind at all. Okay? So, so the plane speed without the wind is 162 miles per hour. So now we need to figure out what is the wind speed. So how much is the wind helping? Well, if I put 162 plus what equals 183, or 162 minus what will give me 141. So I'm going to say 162 plus what gives me 183. Got a simple one-stepper here. Subtract 162 from both sides. Y equals 21. So the plane speed without the wind is 162. The wind speed equals 21 miles per hour, which makes sense because you're going to go 21 miles per hour faster with the wind and 21 miles an hour slower against the wind, meaning that it's hurting you, right? You guys have ever been walking and like you feel like you're walking at a slant? Like I'm walking with no wind, and then the wind comes and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to bend over like this so I don't fall flat on my face because the wind is like coming at you. Does that? Okay. All right, so there's a wind speed problem. There is one more like this. Let's do number 7 together as well, just for good measure. Okay. A plane travels to Anorak and back. So it's going there and back. The trip there with the wind, meaning faster, took 5 hours. The trip back was into the wind, meaning slower, and it took 10 hours. Find the speed of the plane if there was no wind. What was the wind speed? Okay, so this one's a little bit different because the first one we had no time. We didn't know how long they were flying. This one we do know how long they're flying. So what we're saying is, again, we're going to have the same thing where x is the plane speed and y is the wind speed. So our variables aren't different, same variables. And we know that it took 5 hours to get there, right, with the wind. And it took 10 hours to get back against the wind. So let's pretend that they had the same speed going there and back. So let's say 5x plus 5y, and that took 500, and they went, did I not put how far they went? Oh my gosh, travels 580 miles. That would have been nice to type in there. I retyped all of this just now because I wanted it all in one document. So a plane travels 580 miles to Anorak and back. So that's the round trip. So let's say they had the wind the whole time. They had the helpful wind the whole time. Now, like, scientifically that doesn't make sense, but let's pretend. So there and back with the wind, it would take them 5 hours. Okay, just pretend. There and back against the wind, what they're saying is against the wind, it would take them 10 hours. Right? So we're just going to pretend that they had super fast trip both ways or a super slow trip both ways. So that way we can figure out what the plane was actually doing and what the wind was actually doing. So this one's pretty easy. I'm going to multiply this by 2. That will cancel out my y's. So I'm going to get 10x plus 10y equals 1060. And then I'm just going to have my 10x minus 10y equals 580. These cancel out, so I have 20x equals 1740. Divide by 20 on both sides. X equals 87. So that's the speed with the wind, right? That's the plane speed, right? Now we need to figure out the wind speed. So how fast is the wind helping, or how much is the wind hurting? So I'm going to put this 87 back into the equation. 5 times 87 plus 5y equals 580. Or you could put it in this one. Either way, you're still going to get the same answer. So then I'm going to get 435 plus 5y equals 580. When I subtract the 435, I get 5y equals 145. Then when I divide by 5, I get y equals 29. So that tells me that the plane is going this fast by itself. The wind is helping, 29 extra miles per hour faster for the way there, and 29 miles an hour slower for the way back. And so that's why it took so much longer for them to get back. Okay, so this is my plane speed. (87 miles per hour), wind speed 29 miles per hour. Right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. These are kind of different. The sum of two numbers is 25 and their difference is 7. Find the value of the two numbers. All right, people always get caught up on these, and I'm like, don't get caught up. So I have two numbers, right? So I'm going to make x the first number and y the second number. You always need to connect a variable to whatever you're solving for, just like in that very first problem we did. So if I add them, I get 25. Difference means subtract them. X minus y equals 7. So when I solve this, I get 2x equals 18, x equals 9. Easy peasy. So if you add them, you get 25. So the first number equals 9. 9 plus what gives me 25? Second number is 16. If I subtract those, I would get 7. Why isn't that working out? Oh, I know. Duh. Oh, you guys. My gosh. It is late on a Sunday night. And by late, I mean 6:15 p.m. I'm usually home and hanging out on my couch. So I've got 32 divided by 2, I get 16. So my first number is 16, my second number is 9. And the reason those weren't correct is because when I subtract them, I need to get a positive 7. In my head, I was getting a negative 7. So now we got it all figured out. All right, let's do the next one together for good measure. One number is 4 less than 11 times another. The sum of the two numbers is 92. What is the value of the two numbers? Okay, x will be first number, y will be second number. And I know some of you are thinking, why do we have to write this out every time? Trust me, it will help when you are trying to stay organized. Like, you're going to lose track of what you decided, and see how, like, I saved myself up here. Like, I knew something was wrong because the first number had to be the bigger of the two. So I went back and I found my mistake. So make sure you're labeling and identifying a variable with whatever you're trying to solve. Okay, one number is 4 less than 11 times the other. Okay, easy peasy. So and when you add them, you get 92. I'll do that first. X plus y equals 92. Cool. One number is, so x is 4 less than 11 times another. So I'm going to take 4 away, from 11 times another, right? 4 less than means it's this minus the 4, right? If I said 4 less than 11, you would do 11 minus 4, right? So don't let the times another number trick you. Now, this one's a little different because if you want, you could use some substitution. I could put this 11y minus 4 right up here with the x if I wanted to. Or I could rearrange these and make the x's and the y's line up and then do elimination. I'm going to do substitution because it just seems like the easier at this point. So I'm going to take this whole expression and put it here. So I'm going to get 11y minus 4 plus y equals 92. 12y minus 4 equals 92. When I add the 4, I get 12y equals 96. Divide by 12, y equals 8. So I know that something plus 8 equals 92. Well, that's easy. I can say then that x equals 84, right? X and y. Because my first number and my second number. And let's see if this works. Is 84 11 times 8 minus 4? Sure is. 88 minus 4 is 84. So it works for both of them. Okay. Let's look at number 11 here. The length of a rectangle is 5 more than twice the width. The perimeter is 130. What is the area? Okay. So this one's slightly different because first we need to find out what the length and width are before we can find the area. So for this one, we're going to have x equals length and y equals width. Okay, so the length of a rectangle, so x is 5 more than twice the width. There we go. And if I had to draw a picture, which I highly recommend you do, we've got length is 5 more than twice the width. So I'm going to have 5 plus 2y, y, 5 plus 2y, and y. Because it's the length, right, is going to be 5 more than twice the width. So if y is my width, then this is what I have to do here, right? The perimeter is 130. So that tells me that if I add this plus this plus this plus this, I'm going to get 130. So if I take, let's just do this. I have 10, right? And then I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I know that adds up to 130, right? So I added all of these. I added these different expressions together, right? So 5 plus 5 is the 10. And then I have a total of 6 y's, because remember, perimeter is distance around, and they tell me it's 130. So this is another one where I can use substitution. I'm going to take this right here. Well, this isn't working out, is it? Actually, I can just solve for y. What am I thinking here? And then I can figure out what x is, because I'll have my y value, because I only have one variable here. So let's subtract 10. 6y equals 120. When I divide by 6, I get y equals 20. So that's my width. And then to find the length, I'm going to do 5 plus 2 times 20. So my x is going to be 5 plus 2 times the y value, which is 20. X equals 45. So that's going to be my length. Okay, but I'm not done yet, because now I know my length and my width, right? But they want to know what is the area. So what am I going to do to this 45 and this 20 to find the area? What's our area formula? Length times width. So area equals 900 units squared. We don't know if it's feet, inches, miles, whatever. So this is the final answer. So we have our width, our length, and then we have our area. Crystal clear. For right now, I want you to skip number 12. We'll come back to it. Don't cross it out. Just write skip next to it. Okay, let's do number 13, and then this will be the end of the video, and then you guys can work together on the ones that we have not done yet. Phil has 50 nickels and dimes worth $4.15. So that tells me he has a total of 50 coins. How many of each coin does he have? Okay, you might be thinking this is not enough information, but it is. But wait, there's more. Let me make sure I have the right answer here before I lead you guys astray. Hold on. Okay, so we know that he has nickels and dimes. For this one, we're going to use N for nickels and D for dimes. I'm not going to use X's and Y's for this. So how many total coins does he have? N plus D equals 50, right? We know how much nickels and dimes are worth, right? How much is a nickel worth? Well, 5 cents. So 0.05 times however many nickels plus 0.10 times however many dimes, because a dime is worth 10 cents, so you write the money as a decimal, and we know that's going to add up to $4.15, right? So I'm going to do elimination. If I multiply the whole top one by negative 10, then that will give me by negative 0.1, that will give me the negative here to cross out. Negative 0.10. Okay, so now I've got negative 0.10n minus 0.10d equals let me make sure I do this right. I think it's 0.5. Yep, equals negative 5. Not 0.5. And then I take this, I have the positive 0.05n plus 0.10d equals 4.15. So now my dime values are gone. This is going to be, so negative 0.10 plus 0.05 is going to be negative 0.05 equals negative 0.85, because when I combine those I get 0.85, which is good because a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. So n is going to equal 17, because negative 0.85 divided by negative 0.05 is 17. And then that tells me there are 17 nickels. So then how many dimes do there have to be? Give you guys a second to figure that out. 17 plus what equals 50? 33. So 17 nickels, 33 dimes. So then for this next one, you do the same thing, except dimes are worth 0.10, and then quarters, your coefficient for the quarters, so you'd have D and Q, would be 0.25. And do the exact same process. And then this is number 15 is the challenge. If you get to this point, do your best. Remember, there is no homework. do not take this home and do this for homework. Okay, guys? And hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.